Welcome everyone to the ordinary council meeting for September 2025 and a special welcome to our newly elected councillor, Councillor Blake Edgecombe, to his first council meeting. Pursuant to Council Code of Meeting Practice Policy, 2 public forum sessions will be held during the council meeting. 1 public forum session will be held following the acknowledgement of the Broken Hill mining history to hear submissions from the public on matters listed for consideration at this meeting and to also hear submissions on general matters. And the other public forum session will be held prior to confidential matters and will consider submissions from the public on matters considered by council at this meeting only. Councillors undertook an oath or affirmation at the beginning of their term of office and declared to undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interests of the people of the Broken Hill and local government area and the city of Broken Hill, and that they will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, power, authorities and discretions vested in them under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of their ability and judgment. This council meeting is being streamed live via YouTube and recorded and published via council's website. To those present in the gallery today, by attending or participating in this public meeting, you are consenting to your image, voice and comments being recorded and published. The Mayor and/or General Manager have the authority to pause or terminate the stream if comments or debate are considered defamatory, otherwise inappropriate for publishing. Attendees are advised that they may be subject to legal action if they engage in unlawful behaviour or commentary. Swearing in of the new councillor. I call on the General Manager to conduct the swearing in of the newly elected councillor, Councillor Blake Edgecombe, as per the requirement of the Local Government Act 1993.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. The swearing in of the newly elected councillor is pursuant to Section 233A of the Local Government Act 1993, which requires the newly elected councillor to either take an oath of office or make an affirmation of office at or before their first council meeting after the councillor is elected, and this must occur before the General Manager. Councillor Edgecombe has been advised of this requirement and provided with the required statements in preparation for tonight's meeting. Councillor Edgecombe has elected to take the affirmation of office.
I, Blake Edgecombe, solemnly and sincerely declare and affirm that I will undertake the duties of the office of councillor in the best interest of the people of the city of Broken Hill and the Broken Hill City Council, and that I will faithfully and impartially carry out the functions, powers, authorities and discretions vested in me under the Local Government Act 1993 or any other act to the best of my ability and judgment.
Welcome to the Broken Hill City Council, Blake. Call for apologies. We have 1 apology. Councillor Jewett, can we have a mover and a seconder for the apologies?
Move that way.
Moved Councillor Chandler, seconded Councillor Allgate. All those in favour? Declared it carried unanimously. Leave of absence application. We have 1 leave of absence. Councillor Turley submitted a leave of absence application, provided the reason invited to address local government Congress in South Korea. We have a mover for the leave of absence.
Move that way.
Moved Councillor Allgate, seconded Councillor Chandler. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Prayer. I call on Councillor Boland to deliver the prayer.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Almighty God, we ask you to invoke your blessing upon this council, direct and prosper our deliberations to the advancement and true welfare of the people of the council area, our state and Australia. Amen.
Councillor Gillett.
We take time to reflect, remember and honour the over 800 miners that lost their lives and those that were crippled or maimed on the line of load. We thank the brave miners and their wives who were part of the 1919-1920 strike that lasted over 500 days and delivered a 35-hour working week. Mining is our past and our future.
Councillor Chandler.
We acknowledge the traditional owners of the land upon which we meet today, the land of the Willikali people, and pay our respects to their elders, past, present, and emerging.
Thank you. We went out of order, but all done. Public forum. The first public forum session of 15 minutes duration will consider submissions from the public regarding matters listed for consideration at this meeting and also on general matters. The public have been advised through notices on council's website to register by 4 p.m. today if they wish to address council during the public forum session. Members of the public who have registered to address council will be given preference, and then if time permits, anyone else present in the public gallery may address council. Speakers are allocated 2 minutes to address council. Council did not receive any formal registrations. Do we have anyone from either side of the gallery that'd like to speak? Yep. Yep. Let's go up to the microphone. Yep. And just if you could just say your name for the tape. So,
Catherine Yates. I'd just like to say, after a long battle with the trees at 572 Argent Street, the council and myself have come to a satisfactory agreement and moving on. Hopefully we can work together and get the job done.
I'm
Thank
glad
you.
you got a good outcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Any other speakers? No? Minutes for confirmation that minutes of the ordinary meeting of council of the City of Broken Hill held 27th of August 2025 be confirmed. We have a mover for those.
Move the recommendation.
Moved councillor Allgate, seconded councillor Chandler. All those in favour? Declare them carried unanimously. Disclosures of interest. Are there any disclosures of interest? No, nil disclosures of interest. Mayoral minutes, supplementary agenda item number 1, mayoral minute number 1. Approval of councillor travel to Copar for the meeting with the Minister for Regional New South Wales, Western New South Wales, the Honourable Tara Moriarty, MLC, for September. That's on page 3 of the business paper if people want to keep up. We have a mover for that. Moved Deputy Mayor Hickey, seconded councillor Page. Any speakers to that? No, all in favour? Declare it carried. Item number 2, advocacy for ongoing funding support for the Australian Literacy and Numeracy Foundation Mundi Far West Choir and Dance Group Residency Program. We have a seconder for that. Seconded Deputy Mayor Hickey. Just speak to that briefly. The council sends correspondence to the Minister for Arts. So I was contacted out at the Mundi Bash by the organisers of the school event out there. They are looking for someone else to fund the program. It's a very good program that has increased in size. The children that do perform out there love it and enjoy the first few hours of the festival. They get to sing and perform in front of about 14,000 people. So it's all they've asked is that council support them by putting them in contact with the right people and also send off for formal correspondence to see what grants could be available for them to apply for. We have any other speakers? Deputy Mayor Hickey.
Thanks, Mayor Kennedy. Yeah, look, it's a very, very worthy cause. There's lots of the little kids there singing this time, and the professional artists that come over and teach them and help them for a week of prior to Monday. I think it's just a great thing. So yeah, support that.
Any other speakers? All those in favour? Declare it carried unanimously. Notice of a motion, item 1, support the implementation of the National Carp Control Plan on page 22 of the business paper. Deputy Mayor Hickey.
Move that way.
Seconder, councillor Page, Deputy Mayor Hickey.
Thanks, Mayor Kennedy. Look, this has come from the Region 4 of the MDA, Murray-Darling Association. So they're looking for all councils to support this to go to the minister to try and get the carp released, the virus for the carp. They now take over about 80% of the mass of fish in our Murray and Darling rivers. They've done 6 years of study into them. Can't find where there's any negatives to it. once they release the carp, they expect there will be a fair kill, anywhere between 40 and 60%, which will come into the rivers, but there's not very little you can do about that. But overall, they expect to get rid of between 40 and 60%, to help the native fish survive. There's no cost to our council. It's just a letter of recommendation from our council, in support of their motion. Thank you.
Councillor Page?
Yes, if I could ask a question. The timeframe, whether we release it in a drought or a flood, that's possibly in a flood might be the better time. Whatever dies flushes out. So in the drought time, there'll be a lot of pollution in the area. So
Ultimately, the federal government will determine whether it's released at all or when it is released, and they'll be based on CSIRO and what recommendations they put forward. So the letter that is sought by the Murray-Darling Association and has been put forward by the Deputy Mayor Hickey is to essentially in support of releasing the virus. So they're just saying that something needs to be done about the carp problem. As we all know, carp are mud feeders. They suck up mud to feed, and that is killing the little plankton in the river, which is causing the river to end up with blue-green algae because the plankton are not there eating the algae that would normally be eaten by the plankton. And it's also killing the grasses that grow along the bottom of the river beds themselves. Is there anything else you'd like to say? Any other speakers? All those in favour? Councillor Page, Councillor Edgecombe, Councillor Boland, Councillor Chandler, Councillor Gillett and Deputy Mayor Hickey against, Councillor Allgate and Mayor Kennedy. I declare the motion passed. We have nil notice of rescission, reports from delegates nil. Move on to committee reports. Transport for New South Wales delegation to councils on page 29. Have the mover for that.
Move the recommendation.
Move Councillor Allgate, seconded. Councillor Boland, Councillor Allgate.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is seen as being a good thing for councils. It really recognises the fact that councils have a great deal of involvement in traffic matters within the city limits. And it now gives the council the authority or the delegated authority to make decisions that would normally be made by the by Traffic New South Wales, and it would streamline the whole situation. Whilst the council has the delegated authority to do this, the traffic committee, which now exists, will become the local transport forum, and the local bus company operator will be joining the group. And whilst the council can make decisions, we'll always be referring to Transport New South Wales for guidance and so on. But at least it gives the council a bit of leeway and a bit of flexibility in making decisions. I think it's a good thing.
Any other speakers? Look, I think it's a plus to have the bus company on that local transport forum. The bus company does have a lot of, or wants to have a lot of input in what rules are involved. So if they're in it right from the beginning, I think that's a plus. What I do like is that council will continue to put recommendations to that forum rather than go it alone, because you do not want to be in a situation where you've done something and then you've realised later, if you'd got the advice from Roads New South Wales or the police, and you wouldn't have went that way. So for this council, it will make very little difference in reality. But what it will do is, in times of emergency where we would be able to temporarily close off a road, we'll be able to do with that. And that's the advantage for this council and this community. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 2 is the draft cemetery management policy. That's on page 67 of the agenda.
Move the-
Councillor Allgate,
Move the recommendations.
move Councillor Allgate, seconded Deputy Mayor Hickey. Councillor Allgate.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Mayor. The changes that are made to the Cemeteries and Crematoria Act require the council to change its policy, obviously. And the changes that are being introduced will make a big difference, I think, both to the management of the cemetery, which is the responsibility of the council. And when it comes to the age-long problem of proof of evidence of ownership of graves so that they can be improved or any work done on them, it deletes the exclusive right section and introduces the interment right, but it also gives persons, family members of the deceased, the opportunity to make decisions about improving the graves, providing they get the endorsement of the actual owner. And in the absence of being able to locate an owner, the council will then make decisions themselves based on the evidence that's before them. So that's one particular improvement that has always been a headache for the council and the undertakers, and now will be removed. It's obviously an improved document where there's been a lot of input by the Office of Local Government and the government as well. I think it's a good thing once again.
Any other speakers? No, look, I think it's a step in the right direction. Our local cemetery is really important to not just the council, the entire community, and anything that makes that cemetery work better, and tidy it up and have people working on families' monuments or whatever, I think is a really good thing. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 3, results of the community survey regarding the need for a weekly food and organics waste collection
Move
service
that
on
one.
page 85. Moved Councillor Boland, seconded Councillor Allgate. Councillor Boland.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Just foreshadowing a point 4, but first, Broken Hill, I mean, we started the green waste collection around 2006, and we've been congratulated several times through the EPA and mentioned. It's been fortnightly since the start, and the survey definitely shows that the community is happy with that fortnightly service, with 85% of people voting to keep that fortnightly service. But I mean, if it is successful and it does expand, which is what the EPA and the minister is hoping for, and if the demand's there, we can certainly relook at that weekly service. But like everything, there's costs involved, and it's quite a significant cost. So to look at it, have to be cost neutral, and we'll cross that bridge if it arrives and there's community demand for it. But I mean, for Broken Hill to be congratulated by the EPA is a big call, and it shows you how progressive the council was back then around the green waste. So foreshadowing the recommendation 4, I'd like to see our correspondence sent off to Roy Butler, the local MP, and Minister Sharp, Penny Sharp, which I believe is the minister responsible for this. I'll have to confirm. I got a nod from the General Manager, so Minister Sharp as well, confirming that preference around the fortnightly service and the fact that we have been collecting the green waste since 2006, and the community certainly is happy with that fortnightly collection cycle.
Are you happy to second that? Accept that, Councillor Allgate? Yep. Any other speakers? This was introduced at a time when Councillor Ron Page was mayor. It was Australian Vermiculture that did start the green waste out there, and it was used to actually save the goat abattoirs at the time, which was sterilising our meat hole rather rapidly. So Australian Vermiculture actually used the goat meat and the offal as part of their green waste process, as mixed with green waste that come from the city. That was then fed to worms, which made one of the best products in the country, which is now internationally exported to China and many other places. So that's how ahead of everything Broken Hill Council was back in the early 2000s. So what you're saying, councillor Boland, we're well ahead of the game. We certainly don't need to be told that we need a weekly bin service when our community says that a fortnightly service is good enough for us. Councillor Page?
Mr Mayor, could I just make comment? The next step, if we could put in for funding, whether it's federal or state, on this issue to recycle those waste products into a environmental product that is needed. We take out of the environment, but this is one way of putting some of that goodness back in. Waste products all around the world are starting to play a big part in recycling and putting things back into the soil and the environment. So if we could apply for funding, it'd be great.
Couldn't agree more, councillor Page. There has been contact made by different vermiculture groups that actually do want to look at starting back up what we once had. So that would definitely include some sort of grant funding to establish it. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item 1 of the draft and community development policy for public exhibition on page 90. Do we have a mover for that? Move councillor Chandler, seconded. Deputy Mayor Hickey, councillor Chandler.
Yeah, the policy, it's good to see it go out for public exhibition, but it's been written a little bit from the previous one. I think it's a really good submission to put in.
Thank you. Any other speakers? No. All those in favour, declare it carried unanimously. Item number 2 is the annual report section and 355 committee, the Broken Hill City Art Gallery Advisory Committee on page 96 of councillor Gillett, seconded. Councillor Boland. Councillor Gillett, you'd like to speak to that?
Yes, thank you. With the loss of the $100,000 grant money, it's going to affect the 4 and the 2-year exhibition calendar, but it also opens up other opportunities to use the works that we have in our collection, and they can be taken out of storage and be seen by the public and by our tourists. This also brings about artworks being loaned to other galleries and for travelling exhibitions from our collection, such as our renowned works by Brett Whiteley and George Biddowes. I'd just like to comment on the Bald Archies that was applauded by the Mundi Bash people and the Australasian mining attendees. A lot of these people stayed on to explore Broken Hill, and they were absolutely bowled over by our art gallery and the building itself, let alone its contents. It was also disappointing to see that the majority of those grants went to the Eastern Seaboard.
Yeah, look, it's any other speakers? No, look, it's disappointing that we lost that funding, but we have to make the most of what we've got with the less money that we have. It will definitely contribute to an operational change down there. So with every loss, there's an opportunity, and the opportunity is that we ultimately will have more of our art collection on display. Some of those works are worth hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars. The opportunity that is there, and it was a good income earner many years ago, was that our art collection was actually exhibited all over Australia, included in the Sydney Art Gallery, the Canberra Museum. So there's an opportunity there, and there's an opportunity to improve what we have. The General Manager just said there it will be looked at to actually see what we can do to get on some of those exhibition tours, which will generate income, and it will get our magnificent collection out for the public all over the country. And that not only did they get to see that artwork, they get to see that it's from the Broken Hill City Art Gallery collection, and then it is a form of tourism or promotion for the city. So there is opportunities for every loss, and I appreciate what you said, Councillor Gillett. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 3 is the minutes of the Ageing Well Advisory Committee meeting held in August 2025 on page 101. Councillor Allgate moves, seconded. Seconded. Councillor Chandler, Councillor Allgate.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, that particular meeting was well attended, and there was a PowerPoint presentation induction to the new members, so that the new members were made well aware of their responsibilities as a 355 committee member. You know, I think on occasions, some of the responsibilities or expectations tend to frighten people off, but everybody was quite happy in receipt of what was presented on that particular occasion. In the aged care field, there's a real problem with the Aged Care Act. This apparently has been changed. Very few people locally know anything about ramifications of the changes because it's not been available by all accounts. Members of the community, elderly members of the community that are currently in receipt of home care packages are concerned because there's a reported increase in fees of between 20 and 40%. My understanding is that if a husband is looking after his partner or wife or vice versa, and they get awarded a home care package of either 1 to level 4, there's a means tested factor that comes into it, and they may have to pay a monthly fee. The fact that there's talk of a 20 to 40% increase without any detail being forwarded is a real worry for some of the elderly. I know when my wife was ill for so long, and I was in the same situation, I had to pay quite a significant monthly fee, but at least at the time we knew what was going to happen. Some of the people out there in the elderly in the community now are worrying about how much they're going to have to pay, what the increase in their particular case will be, and whether or not they can afford it. So it's a real serious problem, and I don't know that it's going to be resolved too soon because apparently there's been dates bandied around about when the Act will be able to be seen by all and interpreted. That's not set in concrete. Nobody knows. Yeah, I suppose on a pleasant note, the fact that Southern Cross Care Queensland Limited are in receipt of a $50 million government grant is really good news for the local community. Not only for the money that will be expended in the town, but also for those who are in need of nursing home care. It really puts Broken Hill on the forefront, and the development of the site appears to be wonderful. And the fact that there's $50 million available indicates just how wonderful this particular improvement or asset will be by the time it's finished. So that's good. Planning's in progress for the Seniors Week. Council staff are currently involved in organising that for March, early March 2026. And apart from that, the committee meeting was quite good.
Thank you, Councillor Allgate. Councillor Page.
Yes, Mr. Mayor. In regard to this issue, for a long time, as Councillor Allgate's made it clear, you may be financial for a short time frame, but I can assure you they're talking $50 per hour for these packages, and to go into a nursing home, as Councillor Allgate's made clear, financially, if you have any money in a very short time frame, you won't have any money. And it's time every person in Australia lobbied the federal government. They give huge amounts of money in foreign aid and around the world supporting wars and interfering in other countries. It's time our federal politicians had a look at what's going on in Australia and start to look after the people that have built this nation. It's a bloody disgrace. The system they're putting in place at the moment is unacceptable, unaffordable, and we have to push back. So the more we can send correspondence to the current Prime Minister and every minister federal, whether you're in opposition or not, it's not acceptable what they're doing to the elderly of this country. It's a bloody shame.
Deputy Mayor Hickey.
Thanks, Mayor Kennedy. Just further to what Councillor Page just said, I was with a lady today, valuing her house to go to a nursing home, and she came out at 210,000. Now the cut-off's 201.
Yeah.
And so it costs her $200 a day to go to the nursing home now. She showed me the paperwork today, so that's an absolute fact. And, you know, it's disgraceful. It's absolutely bloody disgraceful.
Make a comment.
Yep, Councillor Allgate.
One of the worrying factors in this particular subject is the fact that all of the service providers in the town, which there are many, nobody knows exactly what's happening. Everybody's working in the dark. And, you know, as the Deputy Mayor said, money is short. I've had instances where people have come to me and they were quite financial at one stage when they were a couple getting a combined pension. All of a sudden, one or other of the couple pass away and they revert to a single pension. And if you've got a home and a car and all the other things that people expect to have because they've worked hard for it, they struggle not only to survive, let alone fund extra fees in terms of home care packages. It's just not on. It's not real. And the politicians need to, as Councillor Page has said, the politicians need to wake up and just see what's happening in the aged care community as a whole. It's in tatters.
Yeah, look, it's up to $60 an hour increase, by the way. So people will be forced out of their homes into aged care in Broken Hill, and we certainly don't want to do this. The government have always said that they want to keep people living in their homes for as much as possible. If you're paying $60 an hour, you get someone in for 4 hours, a quarter of your pension's gone. So it's not viable. So we already, I was speaking with the aged care in Queensland, Southern Cross Care. In Broken Hill, we're already having some people go into nursing homes probably 3 to 5 years earlier than what they should, simply because there's not enough assisted independent living in Broken Hill. So we're caught in a position where they're increasing the price per hour to go into people's homes, so they won't be able to afford it. They will end up going into nursing homes earlier than even the 3 to 5 years that they're going in now. And you certainly don't want people that could be living in their homes for 5 years going in to nursing homes before they should. So at number 3, I would suggest, if Councillor Allgate would move it, that we strongly oppose the increases, outlining the reasons that have been argued in the meeting tonight and sending correspondence off to the appropriate ministers as well as our local member, explaining the impacts that this price increase will have on communities like Broken Hill, but other communities far worse than what the effect will be in Broken Hill.
Happy to accept that.
Seconder, happy to accept that. Yep. All those in favour, carried unanimously. Item number 4 is the minutes of the Art Gallery Advisory Committee held in July on page 109. Do we have a mover for that? Moved Councillor Gillett, seconded Councillor Allgate. Councillor Gillett.
Oh, I'd just like to say that so far the advisory committee has been very well run and achieving quite a bit. So it's been quite a good experience.
Any other comments? All those in favour, declare it carried. Item number 5, minutes of the section 355 Youth Advisory Committee meeting held in August on page 115.
Move that way.
Move councillor Boland. Would you like to turn your mic off, councillor Allgate,
Oh, sorry.
or I'll keep on second you. Seconded, councillor Allgate. Councillor Boland.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. This is an important committee. I don't sit on this committee on this term of council, but I certainly did last term. And it's an important committee, and I just note some stuff that had come up around gaps in alternative youth engagement programs, and we know that that assists or prevents or lowers youth crimes. There's no real support or programs in Broken Hill, such as noted here in General Business 7.1, the Making Tracks. The YMCA is currently running alternative supervision programs, which is funded under a certain framework and defined guidelines. But it's been observed, I'm reading from the minutes here, that it's now increasingly functioning as an alternative high school. I believe we had an alternative high school, but that lost funding, unfortunately. So again, a program acting outside or operating outside its scope. But it's as I mentioned, it's an important committee, and that general business really goes into great detail around youth crime. And I think Broken Hill does a good job in managing that and having the kids engaged, even though we don't have much, such as programs of the YMCA. But it's certainly something that needs to be watched, and it's something the government should be funding and ensuring is available to disadvantaged youth in the regions. We see what's happening in certain communities, such as Moree comes to mind, and there really needs to be more focus on these programs. And I just wanted to raise the attention in the council meeting on those matters, and this is why the Youth Advisory Committee is so important.
Thank you, councillor Boland. Any other speakers? Councillor Chandler.
It'd be good to see what the two high school principals have got to say about the advisory. They don't seem to want to come to a meeting, or they don't seem to care about it really.
Just keep on inviting them. So you can add that there, that at number 3, if you like, that we'll move it as a resolution of this at number 3. If you want to put that in there, the mover, that we officially invite them from the council to attend that.
Yeah, that's fine. I do note that there is some correspondence from the Williama High School principal as well that was received in that meeting.
With the seconded, councillor Allgate, you happy to accept that? You seconded it. You had your microphone on, so you got the seconder. Councillor Chandler, you want to turn yours off, or you'll get all the seconds? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 1 of Finance and Governance Committee, Office of Local Government Model Code of Meeting Practice on page 124. Do we have a mover for that?
Move the recommendation.
Move councillor Allgate, seconded councillor Chandler. Councillor Allgate.
The changes are quite significant when you read the policy through, and the Office of Local Government circular that was sent to council. The important thing is that I think the council has already decided to have a workshop, to hold a workshop to talk about changes, because the actual code of meeting practice is quite a comprehensive and long document, and lots of things are now mandatory and have to be in there in accordance with the legislation. So whilst there's been many changes, there's also things that are not mandatory, where the council has flexibility to do what they like in those particular segments. But importantly, I think it's a matter of putting the matter before a workshop and going through it, so that all of the councillors, even the long-term councillors, know exactly what is expected of them in terms of the meeting practice.
Any other speakers? All those in favour? Declare it carried unanimously. Item number 2 is the adoption of the draft social media policy and draft media relations policy on page 228.
Move that way.
Move councillor Boland, seconded.
Seconded.
Councillor Allgate. Councillor Boland.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Very, very important policy, this one. It outlines and really it goes on councillor Allgate's comment around the meeting code of practice, model code of meeting practice, I should say. Because a lot of it is covered in there as well. And freedom of speech is very, very important in council, and our community wants to hear it, but there is guidelines and a way. And I mean, this is two policies in one, with the draft social media policy and the draft media relations policy as well. Both very important policies, both very important for freedom of speech, but to operate in a certain way to make sure discourse in the community is held in a respectful manner without stifling freedom of speech. I do note that the Department of Planning, Housing and Infrastructure developed the free speech and local government guidelines. I'm not sure, they must have had a spare afternoon to whip that one up. Strange department to come from. But I think this will fit well into the model code of meeting practice and the workshop will be held around that as well. And I also note in the social media policy, there is a section around commenting on official council matters versus when you're commenting as a member of council around that it's your opinion and when it's not official council policy. So it's mentioned, very important policy. There's a lot in there. And I think it'll be good to go over it in that workshop with the model code of conduct as well in meeting practice.
Thank you, councillor Boland. Councillor Allgate? No? No. All those in favour? Declare it carried unanimously. Item number 3, the draft audit and risk improvement committee strategic plan on page 244.
I was just getting in early.
Yeah,
I'll
move councillor
move the
Allgate,
recommend-
seconded. Councillor Boland, councillor Allgate.
Thanks, Mayor Kennedy. This particular item is also very important. The council's audit committee, audit and risk and improvement committee. It's an independent committee that doesn't have any councillors or council staff on board as part of it. The general manager is regularly called to give reports, and I attend them as an observer. But you know, it's an independent committee's role to ensure that the council's entire operation needs to be well planned, risks identified in advance, and the results of ongoing audits across the operation be responded to wherever necessary. It's an important committee where the council members have no voting rights, a committee that is chaired by and consists solely of independent members, most of whom are out of town. And as I said before, the general manager regularly gives reports as requested by the chair. And generally, it's an important committee. It's normally a lengthy committee meeting, a couple of hours, and covers a lot of topics, but has achieved a lot in the time that it's been in operation.
Thank you. Any other speakers? Just a note for councillors is that that's like any committee of council, it's only an advisory. So they look over it as a second, but ultimately councillors are in charge of all functions of council. But we do appreciate that audit and risk committee that was brought into this council well before it was a requirement throughout the state as a compulsory. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 4, the investment report for August on page 261.
Move that way.
Councillor Boland, seconded Councillor Chandler. Councillor Boland.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. All written in the report, all compliant with policy, and just want to note the term deposits still getting some decent interest rates there from the March 2025 rollover of those at 4.75 to 4.8. That's pretty good interest rates, and the inflation figures today may point towards that interest rate remaining high for longer.
Yeah. Any other speakers? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 5, budget carryovers on 276. Do we have a mover for that?
Move the recommendations.
Moved councillor Allgate, seconded Deputy Mayor Hickey. Councillor Allgate.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I think the carryovers are significant in terms of dollars, and what used to be frowned upon while the Office of Local Government is no longer frowned upon. And the council, you know, at the start of the financial year, embarked on an ambitious capital works program that inevitably, because of changes in the weather and supply problems, some of these projects overran the finish date. So the idea is to carry the money over until the new year. But I think the important thing is that whilst the council didn't finish all of the things that it intended to commence, importantly, the public will have noticed that in particular things like the airport car park extension, which has been needed since time began, particularly in the last 2 or 3 years, that is in play. The reconstruction of the airport taxiways and aprons, that's in hand. The new library, archives and cultural precinct, that's well on the way to being completed within this particular year. There are lots of things like the Argent Street paving, the netball courts, the Armour Oval change rooms, you know, so many. And one outstanding one is the Warnock Street garage workshop construction. The floor, when I last seen it, the concrete floor was poured. The frames were up and they were starting to clatter. It may well be well clattered by now, but that particular thing has been needed for at least 60 years that I can recall. When I first started on the council back in 1962, the existing garage workshop was pretty much the same as it is now. It had a few additions or renovations during the period, but it's an arcade piece of work, and I'm sure the employees who are expected to work in that particular environment will be more than happy with the new structure. You know, the council has done a lot of things in this past 12 months, albeit some of them not finished, but well on the way. And I think we should be applauded for it.
Thank you, councillor Allgate. Deputy Mayor Hickey.
Yeah, Mayor Kennedy, further to what councillor Allgate said, I think I'd pass on congratulations to our general manager and his staff as to what has been achieved in the last 12 months. I think we've come a long way in the town, and you hear it through the public that most people are fairly happy with what council has done and what they've achieved. And although we've got some carryovers, they will be finished and we can move on. Thank you.
Councillor Boland.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Just want to make note of some really important, really good projects there, and also reference councillor Allgate that I'm not sure why carryovers were such an evil word, because it's just part and parcel of these big projects. You want to do them right, which we want to do them right. Sometimes that happens, but you had the new roof at the skating rink, long time in the waiting, in the wings, and people are going to be very, very, very excited about that. Even things like they're refurbishing the starting blocks at the aquatic centre. There's swimming clubs in this town, and swimming in this town is very important. And those little facilities and little things really mean a lot for the people that utilise those facilities. And ultimately, even if you don't, it improves the city, and people want to live here, or your kids want to stay here, and it improves your life overall, or everyone. The library, that's coming to completion. That's looking amazing and coming in on budget as well. Memorial Oval lighting, another very important oval in Broken Hill, and right to the Ridford Auditorium. I'm looking at former councillor Brown over there. I think I've just butchered that name. Absolutely something shocking, but that's an important asset to the city as well. And I know that when former councillor Brown was on the council, that a lot of volunteers looked after that. So they'd be very, very happy with some money being spent on them. So just wanted to make note of all the important projects and congratulate everyone involved. And our city's looking amazing, and the better the city looks and the more facilities we have, the more people want to move here, and more importantly, our young ones want to stay here and put down roots and have families, and the future generation lives on, I guess, and they enjoy the city as much as we all did.
Thank you, councillor Boland. Any other speakers? I'd like to congratulate council management and all council staff as well as councillors for what has been achieved over the past 12 months. I very rarely get any negative comments from anyone, and that includes people that live here, but also people that visit the city. I also get a lot of comments from council employees who continually state how impressed with the way that council is operating and has been operating over the past couple of years, particularly the garage that councillor Allgate spoke about. For 40 years, they've been waiting. When I was first elected to council in 1999, we had a site visit and they were talking about replacing it back in 1999. Councillor Allgate, who was elected in 2004, went on the same tour and they were still talking about changing that garage. I'm sure when Councillor Page was elected in 95, were you, Councillor Page? I think they would have done the same tour and said the exact same thing. So it was this council that was able to achieve a brand new garage, which will, without a doubt, make it easier to employ people in that area, and council will be able to do some of the things they used to do, and that is to bring in work and create more money for council because they have the facilities that will allow that to happen. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. We move on to further reports. The first report is the election of the Deputy Mayor on page 286. Do we have a mover for that? Moved Councillor Chandler, seconded Councillor Gillett. You take over here. So we'll move on to the General Manager, who will go through this section.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. As returning officer, I advise that one nomination has been received for the position of Deputy Mayor. Councillor Hickey, nominated by Councillor Allgate and Councillor Gillett. Nomination received 25th of September 2025 at 6:20 p.m. I now call for any further nominations to be submitted prior to the ballot being conducted. If there's no further nominations, congratulations, Deputy Mayor Hickey.
All those in favour of what was just moved, passed unanimously. Item number 2 is the upgrade of the Broken Hill Airport, except of larger aircraft during emergencies on page 220. Moved Deputy Mayor Hickey, seconded Councillor Boland. Deputy Mayor Hickey.
Thanks, Mayor Kennedy. We got a very nice letter from Senator Jenny McAllister acknowledging yourself as the mayor and what you do for our city. And although she couldn't help because she'd moved on in a position in the federal government, she did refer us back to Honourable Christy McBain. The General Manager himself spoke to Christy McBain's head of staff 3 weeks ago, I think, because Christy couldn't make it. She did explain she couldn't make it, but we spoke to her about the airport and she's very confident that we can move forward sometime in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you. I think we won't be far from getting 20 million. Councillor Boland.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Yeah, I mean, the airport upgrade is very, very important, and we've spoken about it at length in this council. This one and the last one, and probably the ones before that as well, have been very vocal in upgrading that airport because it's important. And I make note of the ETOPS requirements. I kept getting the name wrong, so I wrote it down. ETOPS rating. So currently, Broken Hill is in a perfect position for that, and it can be used as diverting aircraft in emergencies. And it came about from 2 737s landing below minima, whatever that means, after diverting due to fog at their destination. So there was fog in Adelaide They got diverted to Mildura. By the time they got to Mildura, there was fog in Mildura, but there wasn't fog in Broken Hill. So, but the airport wasn't equipped for it. So that's something that can be used to ensure that we get that support we need. And obviously, we need an airport that is going to benefit our community and offer affordable flights in and out, so we can attract the population increase that we're aiming for, and we can fill all these wonderful jobs that we've got in Broken Hill, and people can come and live in this wonderful city.
Thank you, councillor Boland. Any other speakers? No? All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 3 is the appointment of delegates to the committees September 2025 to September 26 on page 203. Councillor Ashley Burns' resignation resulted in a number of vacant positions within the within council's committees. First off, we have he resulted in a vacancy on Infrastructure and Environment Committee and also the Finance and Governance Committee. Councillor Turley has asked, could she be moved from the Finance and Governance Committee to the Infrastructure and Environment Committee? Do we have a mover for that? Moved Councillor Edgecombe, seconded Councillor Allgate. Also, I actually will just go through them because I'm sure that everyone will move them together. Finance and Governance Committee, are you happy to be on that, Councillor Edgecombe?
Yes, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. We need one more for that position on Finance and Governance. We already have Councillor Edgecombe going on that.
Nominate Councillor Jewett.
Councillor Jewett, we have a seconder for that? Councillor Allgate. Australia Day Advisory Committee. Does any councillors would like to be on that? Councillor Chandler. Second. Well, we'll move them all together at the end. So Councillor Chandler, any other nominations for that position? No. Just before we go on here, so Councillor Edgecombe, if you go through the committees yourself and have a look at them, and if there's any in there that you'd like to be part of at before the next committee, if you could just put your name down on those, and we'll rearrange some of those committees so you can have involvement in those committees. Some of the committees that Councillor Byrne was on would probably committees that would result in a councillor with more experience, like the project committee. He'd actually been on that for a number of years as a community delegate, so got on that. So if you just go through the committees that are there and just have a look at any that you might want to be part of and come back, we'll look at it, rearranging it so that you can be part of some of those committees. Yep. The other one is the General Manager's Performance Review Committee. Councillor Chandler. Project Steering Consultative Group, Councillor Allgate. So they were the positions that Councillor Byrne remained vacant. Councillor Boland, you said you'd like to withdraw from the Art Gallery Committee.
Yes, that's correct, Mr. Mayor, due to work commitments.
I'd like to be on that, so I'll go on that one. Yeah, Councillor Chandler.
At the moment, I'm the chair of that committee. I'd like to see you take it over and we get a better run of it.
Well, usually when the mayor's there, they get first choice at chair, so I kindly accept that, Councillor Chandler, so thank you. There was another one that you were thinking of pulling out?
Yes, again, due to work commitments, the Community Assistance Grant panel, that I'll kind of double up on the Grants Committee panels, and that's a one that clashes with work commitments. So I'd ask to be removed off that as well, Mr. Mayor.
Councillor Gillett, you happy to be on that? Is there any other committees that people would like to change around? So could we have a remover and a seconder for all those changes rather than go through them individually?
Move all of the changes as
Moved,
noted.
Councillor Allgate, seconded Councillor Deputy Mayor Hickey. And keep in mind, Councillor Edgecombe, if you come to the get you in, we can get you on a few of those committees that you're interested in.
Thank you.
All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 4 is the adoption of the draft Broken Hill Asset Optimisation Report. Move councillor Boland,
Move that way.
seconded
Good.
councillor Allgate, councillor Boland.
This is a really, really important report. It runs over well over 150 pages. It's important. It goes through all our assets, what's been utilised, what's not been utilised. I do note the chamber, they put that as not underutilised, but to me, it's being utilised exactly for what it should be utilised for, which is council meetings. But the rest of it, it goes through so much, and it's a report that we can use, that when we've just done the budget carryovers, the budget we're coming up, this is a report we can use to see what needs to be done around the city, and get on top of our maintenance and our depreciation. But there's so much, and I think anyone in the community, have a look through and have a look what your council and as an extension, the community owns and operates in this city. It's quite an amazing list, but it takes a lot of maintenance, and these kind of reports really gives council and the council staff and officers a really good indication on where money needs to be invested, where repairs need to be made, where focus really needs to be, and where we can utilise the assets more and generate more money for the community, and we can put that money back into maintaining our facilities and our assets as well. So the company that did the report, GHD, have done a really, really good job. It's really, really detailed. I recommend everyone in the community have a look through it, have a look what your council looks after, and we'll obviously look at this report, and it'll set where we need to look at and where we need to invest our time and effort and budget to ensure all our assets are looking top notch and are operating at 100% capacity and are generating, where possible, generating income for the city.
Thank you, councillor Boland. Any other speakers? Just, I do note in that report, though, it is an extensive report, and there is a lot of them haven't met the benchmark that was required. But if you have a look at the very end, which is what first step actions will be taken, and so there's no drastic action for anything in the immediate stages other than a few reports. So it is a good document to start for a basis point, but no one or no infrastructure or anyone that's in those buildings need to worry about anything that's going to happen in the short term. There'll be extensive consultation before anything happens. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Item number 5, action list report. We have a mover for that. Moved councillor Gillett, seconded councillor Chandler. Councillor Gillett. Thank you, councillor. All those in favour? Carried unanimously. Questions taken on notice from the previous meeting was nil. Do we have any questions councillors have for the next meeting? No. Public forum. The second public forum session will consider submissions from the public regarding matters that were considered by council at this meeting only. Speakers are allocated two minutes to address council. Is there anyone that would like to address council? No. Confidential matters. Call for a motion to move in closed session. Move councillor Page, seconded councillor Chandler. All those in favour? Declare it carried unanimously. Just for the public, there's only one confidential item, so it won't take long if people do want to hang around for the end. Invite the general manager to report on council's resolution made in closed session.
Thank you, Mayor Kennedy. Council resolved in closed session, Broken Hill City Council Report number 174/25, proposed purchase of land. Council resolved one, that Broken Hill City Council Report number 174/25 dated September 9, 2025 be received. Two, that council approves the purchase of vacant land at Lot 5, Section 21 in Deposit Plan 758018 and Lot A, Deposit Plan 334216, Lot B, Deposit Plan 334216, Lot 22, Section 21, Deposit Plan 758018, and Lot 7, Section 21, Deposit Plan 758018 for its future use for a housing subdivision, and authorises the general manager to negotiate the purchase of the subject land within the land valuation range as detailed in this report. Three, that the mayor and general manager be authorised to execute the purchase of the subject land and sign relevant documentation under the common seal of council. And four, that should council be successful in acquiring the subject land, the land be classified by council as operational land as per Chapter 6, Part 2 of the Local Government Act 1993. Thanks, Mayor Kennedy.
Thank you, General Manager. As there is no further business for council to consider, I declare the ordinary council meeting closed at 7:00.